Okay, so here's video 2. My computer kind of crashed on me. So here's video 2, and we will finish up Act 2 with this. So we're in Scene 3. We just started Scene 3, and we're going to move on. And where the worser is predominant, full soon the canker death eats up that plant. So the friar has been kind of going off on the beauties and the powers and strengths of nature itself. And so it's all foreshadowing, okay? This is Shakespeare giving us an idea on how this is going to go. So far, traditional love story, but now we're talking about death and rebirth and all of these things, and it pulls a little bit more dire circumstances into it. Romeo: good morrow, father. Friar Lawrence: Benedictite. What early tongue so sweet saluteth me? Young son, it argues a distempered head, so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Care keeps his watch in every old man's eye, and where care lodges, sleep will never lie. But where unbruised youth with unstuffed brain doth couch his limbs, there golden sleep doth reign. Therefore thy earliness doth me assure thou art unprosed by some distemperature. Or if not so, then here I hit it right, our Romeo hath not been in bed tonight. So he's looking at him and, who's greeting me so early? Young man, something's wrong if you're getting out of bed this early. Every old man has worries, and worried men never get any sleep. But young men shouldn't have a care in the world. They should get to bed early and get plenty of rest. Therefore, the fact that you're awake this early tells me you've been upset with some anxiety, or you've never been to bed. So Friar Lawrence is calling out Romeo's late-night antics. The last is true, the sweeter rest was mine. God, pardon sin, what wast thou with Rosaline? May God forgive you if you've sinned. Did you manage to convince that girl? With Rosaline, my ghostly father? No, I have forgot that name, and that name's woe. That's good, son. But where hast thou been, then? I'll tell thee ere thou ask it me again. I've been feasting with mine enemy, whereon a sudden one hath wounded me. That's by me wounded. Both are remedies. Within thy help and holy physic lies. I bear no hatred, blessed man, for lo, my intercession likewise steadies my foe. I dined with an enemy, and we kind of fell in love. Be plain, good son, and homely in thy drift. Riddling confession finds but riddling shrift. Be honest, and tell me directly, and none of this playful bantering back and forth. Then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of wretch Capulet, as mine on hers, and hers is set on mine, and all combined, save what thou must combine, by holy marriage. When and where and how we met, we wooed and we made exchange of vow. I'll tell thee as we pass, but this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today. Holy Saint Francis, what a change is here! Is Rosaline, whom thou didst love so dear, so soon forsaken? Young men's love then lies, not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria! What a deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline! How much salt water thrown away in waste, to season love that it doth not taste! The sun not yet thy sighs from heaven clears, thy old groans ring yet in my ancient ears. Your tears flavored love, and yet no one is there to taste it. Your love isn't of your heart, but of your eyes. You've fallen in love with what you think looks good. That's not love. Lo, here upon thy cheek the stain doth sit of an old tear that is not washed off yet. If e'er thou wash'st thyself in these woes thine, thou and these woes were all for Rosaline. And art thou changed? Pronounce this sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men. Basically, the friar's throwing his hands up and going, you are helpless. You helpless? I'm not a part of this anymore. No, no, no. You still have the tear tracks from Rosaline on your face, and you're claiming love with another person. No, no, no. Women may fall when there's no strength in men. Repeat this after me. You can't expect women to be faithful when men are so unreliable. Romeo, thou chidest me oft for loving Rosaline, for doting, not for loving, pupil mine, and biddest me bury love, not in a grave to lay one in and another out to have. I didn't want you to get rid of love. I wanted you to get rid of fake love so you could have real love. I pray thee, chide not. Her I love now. Doth grace for grace and love for love allow? The other did not so. Oh, she knew well thy love did read by rote that could not spell. But come, young waverer, come, go with me. In one respect I'll thy assistant be, for this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancor to pure love. She knew you did not love her, and that you were simply reciting love as you thought you had heard it. I'll help you with your secret wedding, though. This marriage may at least be lucky enough to turn the hatred between your families into true love. Oh, let us hence. I stand on sudden haste. Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast. Foreshadowing. Now remember, Benvolio is a good man and Mercutio is a bit on the aggressive side. Where the devil should this Romeo be? Come he not home tonight? Not to his father's. I spoke with his man. Why, that same pale-hearted wench, that Rosaline, torments him so that he will sure run mad. Tybalt, the kinsman of old Capulet, has sent a letter to his father's house. A challenge on my life. Romeo will answer it. Any man that can write may answer a letter. Nay, he will answer the letter's master. How he dares being dared. Alas, poor Romeo. He is already dead, stabbed with the white wench's black eye, shot through the ear with a love song, the very pen of his heart cleft with the blind bow boy's butt shaft. And he is a man to encounter Tybalt. So the bow boy's butt shaft. He's referencing Cupid's arrow. And the butt shaft is the shape of the heart, is the shape of the rear end. The blind boy's butt shaft. Yep. Again, you miss the puns if you read just the modern text. Why? What is Tybalt? More than Prince of Cats. Oh, he's the courageous captain of compliments. He fights as you sing prick song. Keeps time, distance, and proportion. He rests his minimum rests. 1, 2, and the third in your bosom. The very butcher of a silk button. A duelist, a gentleman of the very first house. Of the first and second cause. Ah, the immortal passando, the punto reverso, the high. Mercutio is saying Tybalt is a composer. He fights with a sword the way men write music. He pays attention to time, distance, proportion. He takes the proper breaks. 1, 2, the third in your heart. He's a butcher who can hit any silk button, a master duelist. He's praising his enemy. The what? The pox of such antic, lisping, affecting phantasmons. These new turners of accents, by Jesu, a very good blade, a very tall man, a very good whore. Why is not this a lamentable thing, grandsire? What, that we should be thus afflicted with these strange flies, these fashion-mongers, these pardon-me's, who stand so much on the new form they cannot sit at ease on the old bench. Oh, their bones, their bones! I hate these crazy, affected guys who use foreign phrases and newfangled expressions. I hate their strange manners and their weird accents. I hate it when they say, by Jesus, that very good blade, a very brave man, a very good whore. Isn't this a sad thing? These men who care so much about manners they can't kick back on a bench without whining. Oh, my aching bones. Basically, he's mocking this new civility. Romeo enters. Ah, here comes Romeo. Here comes Romeo. Mercutio, without his roe, like a dried herring. Oh, flesh, flesh, how art thou fishified? Now is he for the numbers that Petrarch flowed in. Laura to his lady, but was but a kitchen wench. Mary, she had a better love to berhyme her. Ditto a dowdy. Cleopatra a gypsy. Helen a hero. Hildings and harlots. Thesby a grey eye or so, but not to the purpose. Signor Romeo, bonjour! There's a French salutation to your French slop. You gave us the counterfeit fairly last night. So, he's giving a lot of hell to Romeo. He looks skinny like a dried herring without its eggs, and he hasn't got his girl. Oh, flesh, flesh, you've turned pale and weak like a fish. Now he's ready for Petrarch's poetry. Compared to Romeo's girl, Laura was a kitchen slave. Surely she has better love to make rhymes for her. Dido was shabby dressed. So he's comparing Rosaline and Romeo's love of her, of infamously beautiful and well-dressed women. Dido, the queen of Phoenicia, Cleopatra, gypsy girl, Helen, the face that launched 1,000 ships, the creator of the war between Troy and Greece, the Odyssey. The Iliad and the Odyssey are actually written about Helen's trip to Troy and her love. And here were sluts and harlots. Thesby might have Thesby of famous Greek beauty. So he's giving Romeo hell for being so insanely over the moon for someone that he can't see other people that are of vastly superior rote. So, good morning to both of you. What counterfeit did I give? Mercutio, the slip, sir, the slip. Can you not conceive? Pardon, good Mercutio, my business was great, and in such a cease as mine a man may strain courtesy. That's as much as to say, such as a case as yours constrains a man to bow in the hams. So, in other words, important business made you flex your buttocks. I don't care what your business was. Meaning to curtsy. Thou hast most kindly hit it. A most courteous exposition. Nay, I am a very pink of courtesy. Pink for flower. Right. So they're just giving each other hell back and forth. Why then is my pump well flowered? Sure, wit. Follow me this jest will now till thou hast worn out thy pump, that when thy single soul of it is worn, the jest may remain after the wearing solely singular. Oh, single-souled jest, solely singular for the singleness. Again, we're seeing the puns, the play on words, the wit and witticism of a young man playing and fencing with words instead of swords. Come between us, good Benvolio, my wit faints. Switch and spurs, or I'll cry a match. Nay, if our wits run the wild goose chase, I am done. For thou hast more of the wild goose on one of thy wits than, I am sure, I have in my whole 5. Was I with you there for the goose? So, Mercutio is saying, all right, calm down, you're winning, I give up. Every one of your jokes is better than 5 of mine. Thou wast never with me for anything when thou wast not there for the goose. So, Romeo is implying that Mercutio is only good for jokes. Mercutio, I will bite thee by the ear for that jest. Nay, good goose, bite not. Thy wit is very bitter sweeting. It is a most sharp sauce, and is not well served into a sweet goose. Oh, here's a wit of chevril that stretches from an inch narrow to an ell broad. Oh, that's a joke made out of leather that spreads itself thin. So that's a bad joke made even worse. Romeo, I stretch it out for the word broad, which, added to the goose, proves thee far and wide a broad goose. He's not letting him out of his sights. He's going to give Mercutio both barrels. Why, is it not this better than groaning for love? Now art thou sociable. Now art thou Romeo. Now art thou what thou art, by art as well as by nature. For this driveling love is like a great natural that runs lolling up and down the hide of his bauble in a hole. Stop there. Stop there. Thou desirest me to stop at my tail against the hair. So Mercutio is railing against love itself and Romeo's desire for Rosalina. Thou wouldest else have made thy tail large. Oh, thou art deceived. I would have made it short. For I was come to the whole depth of my tale, and meant indeed to occupy the argument no longer. Mercutio was saying, I was done, thank you very much. Enters the nurse and her man Peter. It is 9 in the morning. What happens at 9? And the last scene, we know that you intend to marry me or not. It's because Juliet's kind of biting at the bit. Romeo, here's goodly gear. A sail, a sail! 2, a shirt and a smock. Nurse, Peter! So let's look at a sail right quick. Benvolio makes the cry of a sailor who spots another ship on the horizon because the nurse is fat and silly looking. He's comparing her to a boat. Peter, anon, I'm at your service. Nurse, a fan, Peter. Mercutio, good, Peter, hide her face, for her fan's the fair face. Oh, and he's calling her ugly now. Nurse, God ye good morrow, gentlemen. Good ye good e'en, fair gentlewoman. Is it good even? 'Tis no less, I tell you, for the body hand of the dial is now upon the prick of noon. Again, lusty hand. Mercutio's language full of offensive sexual innuendo. Yep. Out upon you, what a man are you? One gentlewoman that God hath made himself to mar. By my troth, it is well said, for himself to mar, quoth he. Gentlemen, can any of you tell me where I might find the young Romeo? I can tell you, but young Romeo will be older when you have found him than he was when you sought him. I am the youngest of that name, for fault or of a worse. Nurse, you say well. He introduced himself pleasantly. Mercutio. Yeah, is the worst well. Very well look, I faith, wisely, wisely. To Romeo she says, If you be he, sir, I desire some confidence with you. Benvolio. She will indict him upon some supper. Abad, so ho! So Mercutio is claiming that Romeo is buying a girl. What hast thou found? Mercutio. No hare, sir, unless a hare, sir, in a Latin pie. That is, something stale and hoar ere it be spent. She's not a prostitute unless she's using her ugliness to hide her promiscuity. Sings, an old hare whore, and an old hare whore is a very good meat in Lent. But a hare that is whore is too much for a score, when it whores ere it be spent. Romeo, will you come to your father's? Will to dine thither. I'll follow after you. Farewell, ancient lady, farewell, lady, lady, lady. Nurse. I pray you, sir, what saucy merchant was this that was so full of his ropery? A gentleman, nurse, that loves to hear himself talk, and will speak more in a minute than he will stand to in a month. And he speak anything against me, I'll take him down, and he were lustier than he is. 20 such jacks, and if I cannot, I'll find those that shall. Scurvy knave! I'm none of his flirt gills. I'm none of the skeins mates. And thou must stand too, by too, and suffer every knave to use me at his pleasure. Peter. I had no man use you at his pleasure. If I had, my weapon should have quickly have been out. I warrant you, I dare draw as soon as another man, if I see occasion in a good quarrel, and the law be on my side. Now, afore God, I am so vexed that every part of me quivers, scurvy knave. Pray you, sir, a word. And as I told you, my young lady bid me inquire you out. What she bade me say, I will keep to myself. But first let me tell ye, if thee, and really it should be thee, is because it's not supposed to be a why, but if ye should lead her into a fool's paradise, as they say, it were a very gross kind of behavior, as they say. For the gentlewoman is young, and therefore, if you should deal double with her, truly it were an ill thing to be offered to any gentlewoman of very weak dealing. So, you better be honest and true about this. Nurse, commend me to thy lady and mistress. I protest unto thee. Good heart and eye faith, I will tell her as much, good Lord. Lord, she will be a joyful woman. What wilt thou tell her, nurse? Thou dost not mark me. I will tell her, sir, that you do protest, which, as I take it, is a gentlemanlike offer. I believe you are being honest and truthful, because you are protesting that you are. Bid her devise some means to come to Shrift this afternoon, and there she hath at Friar Lawrence's cell be shrived and married. Here is for thy pains. No, truly, sir, not a penny. Go to, I say to you shall. This afternoon, sir? Well, she will be there. And stay, good nurse, behind the abbey wall. Within this hour my man shall be with thee, and bring thee cords made like tackled stair, which to the high top gallant of my joy must be my convey in the secret night. Farewell. Be trusting, and I'll quit thy pains. Farewell. Commend me to thy mistress. Now God in heaven bless thee. Hark, you, sir. What sayest thou, my dear nurse? Is your man secret? Do you near here say, two may keep counsel, putting one away? Warrant thee, my man's as true as steel. Well, sir, my mistress is the sweetest lady. Lord, Lord, when 'twas a little prattling thing, oh, there is a nobleman in town, one Paris, that would fain lay knife abroad. But she, good soul, had as lief see a toad. I've very toad as see him. I anger her sometimes and tell her that Paris is the properer man. But I'll warrant you, when I say so, she looks as pale as any clout in the versal world. Doth not Rosemary and Romeo both begin with a letter? Rosemary was a token of remembrance between lovers and for the deed. Ay, nurse, and what of that? Both with an R. Ah, Mocker. That's the dog's name. R is for the... No, I know it begins with some other letter, and she hath the prettiest sentence of it. Of you and Rosemary, that it would do for you to hear it. Commend me to thy lady. Aye, 1,000 times. Peter, anon, before in a pace. Juliet. The clock struck 9 when I did send the nurse. In half an hour she promised to return. Perchance she cannot meet him. That's not so. Oh, she is lame. Love's heralds should be thoughts, which 10 times faster glide than the sun's beams, driving back shadows over the lowering hills. Therefore do nimble pinioned doves draw love, and therefore hath the wind swift Cupid wings. Now is the sun upon the highest hill of the day's journey, and from 9 till 12 is 3 hours long, and she is not yet come. Had she affections and warm youthful blood, she would be as swift in motion as a ball. My words would bandy her to my sweet love, and this and his to me. But old folks, many fain as they were dead, unwieldy, slow, and heavy, and pale as lead. So she's saying the nurse is too old to move the way she should. Oh God, she comes. Oh, honey nurse, what news? Hast thou met with him? Send thy man away. Peter, stay at the gate. Now, good sweet nurse, O Lord, why thou lookest thou sad? Thou news be sad. Yet tell them merrily, if good thou shamest the music of sweet news, by playing it to me with so sour a face. Juliet is racing ahead. I am a-weary, give me leave a while. Fie, how my bones ache, what a jaunt have I. Juliet, I would thou hadst my bones and I thy news. Nay, come, I pray thee, speak. Good nurse, speak. Jesu, what haste! Can thou not stay a while? Could you not see that I am out of breath? So the nurse is jacking with her. How art thou out of breath when thou hast breath, to say that thou art out of breath? The excuse that thou makest is in this delay is longer than the tale thou dost excuse. Is thy news good or bad? Answer to that. Say either I'll stay the circumstance, let me be satisfied. Is it good or bad? Well, you have made a simple choice. You know not how to choose a man. Romeo, no, not he. Though his face be better than any man's, yet his leg excels all men's, and for a hand and a foot and a body, though they be not talked on. Yet they are past compare. So the nurse is saying, you don't know the first thing about picking men, even though that is a hell of a man you picked. He is not the flower of courtesy, but I'll warrant him as gentle as a lamb. Go thy ways, wench, serve God. What, have you dined at home? No, but all this did I know before. What says he of our marriage? What of that? Lord, how my head aches, what a head I have, it beats as I would fall in 20 pieces. My back to the other side, oh, my back. Beshrew my heart for sending me about to catch my death while jaunting up and down. I, faith, I am sorry that thou art not well. Sweet, sweet nurse, tell me, what says my love? Your love says, like an honest gentleman, and a courteous and a kind, and a handsome, and I warrant it a virtuous. Where is your mother? Where is my mother? Why, she is within. Where should she be? How oddly thou repliest. Your love, like an honest gentleman, where is your mother? O God's lady dear, are you so hot? Mary, come up, I trow. Is this the poultice for my aching bones? Henceforth do your messages yourself. Here's such a coil. Come, what says Romeo? Have you got leave to go to shrift today? I do. Then hie you hence to Friar Lawrence's cell. There stays a husband to make you a wife. Now comes the wanton blood up in your cheeks. They'll be scarlet straight as any news. Hie you to the church. I must another way to fetch a ladder, by which your love must climb a bird's nest soon when it is dark. I am the drudge and toil in your delight, but you shall bear the burden soon at night. Go, I'll to dinner, hie you to the cell. The burden is the act of becoming the wife to a husband, the marital bed. Wish me luck. Thank you, dear nurse. Yes. So smile the heavens upon the holy act, that after hours with some sorrow chide us not. Amen and amen. But come what sorrow can, it cannot countervail the exchange of joy that one short minute gives me in her sight. Do thou but close our hands with holy words, then love-devouring death do what he dare. It is enough I may but call her mine. These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die, like fire and powder, which as they kiss consume. The sweetest honey is loathsome in his own deliciousness, and in the taste confounds the appetite. Therefore moderately love. Long love doth so. Too swift arrives as tardiest too slow. Here comes the lady, oh, so light of foot, will ne'er wear out the everlasting flint. A lover may bestride the gossamers, the idols in the wanton summer air, yet not fall, so light is vanity. Good even to my ghostly confessor. Romeo shall thank thee, daughter, for us both. As much to him as else is his things too much. Ah, Juliet, if the measure of thy love be heaped like me, and that thy skill be more to blazon it, then sweeten with thy breath this neighbor air, and let rich music's tongue unfold the imagined happiness that both receive in either of this dear encounter. Conceit, more rich in matter than in words, brags of this substance, not of ornament, but are beggars which can count their worth. But my true love is grown to such excess, I cannot sum up some of half my wealth. Come, come with me, and we will make short work. For by your leaves you shall not stay alone till the Holy Church incorporate two into one. And so the marriage begins, and so my reading ends. See you in Act 3.